This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome to the Mark Capitan Show. This is attorney Mark Capitan, your host. Today's show is brought to you by the Capitan Brothers Law Firm. We've been serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. Capitan Brothers, the Valley's law firm. We got a couple of cowboys here that are writing down my number right now. You know, there is a legend that says rodeo, the term rodeo, got its start when one ranch said they had a horse that couldn't be rode, and another ranch said they had a cowboy that couldn't be thrown. Well, the cowboy's life is the face of our American heritage, the Wild West, and the rugged individualism. And the rodeo is the keeper of that heritage, if you ask me. As for California, there's no place that better represents that American heritage than beautiful Clovis, California, or as my grandmother would say, God's country. In fact, the term Clovis, it's a way of life, is something I learned while attending Clovis West High School back in the day. My graduating class song was Waylon and Willie's Mama Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys. And Clovis, it's a way of life, was a proud mantra for the kids and adults alike back then. But more importantly, it's not just a mantra. It was a basic lesson plan for life. It is synonymous with that American way of life. It means work hard, honor the law, respect your neighbor, and be true to your family and God. And the best representation of that Clovis way of life is the Clovis Rodeo. Hard work, rugged individualism, and a whole lot of fun. And with the Clovis Rodeo coming up in 1 month, I figured let's have a couple of real Clovis way of life fellas. So it's a pleasure to welcome to the Mark Capitan Show from the Clovis Rodeo, Chairman, Announcer Mark Thompson, and Director Ron Dunbar. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Hey, my pleasure, because I went for one of the, I'm embarrassed to say, it's Clovis Rodeo has been 110 years. I went for the first time with my friend John Sotelo and his wife last year. Sadly to say for me, because it was a great experience, and I can't believe I missed it all these years. The planning for this, what's it take to plan this rodeo out? I understand you guys start the day after the rodeo, you start planning for the next one.
Absolutely. It takes us a year in advance to pull the rodeo off. Your original statement about how rodeo got started is absolutely true with Clovis. Many, many years ago, Clovis was a railhead for the ranches around to ship cattle. So there was always a ranch there that had that horse. There was always a ranch there that had that cowboy, and somebody put up $5 and Clovis Rodeo was born. But
is that what it was?
Started. Exactly.
I understand it was called the Clovis Festival originally. It was started by the Women's League of Clovis. But when it turned into more of a rodeo, it was a $5 bet between ranches.
It took place, and the women would put lunch together. So they went ahead and started it, and that's how it got the original name. But over the years, it changed to become known as Clovis Rodeo.
Do they know any of the history as far as who those two ranches were?
They came from all over. This was a big deal to have a railhead here. So theoretically, Mark, in the spring, as the native feed dries up, it's time for those cattle to go to market.
Yeah.
So Clovis was the nearest railhead, and a rail car was the easiest way to ship them. So that's how this got started. And there'd be a ranch in here 1 week, and then they'd be out in a couple of days, and another ranch would be in. And it was just the way of life. And the cattle industry has been so important to the state of California, and ever since they were building missions on the coast, the vaqueros had brought cattle up into our countries.
Right. And it was originally basically ranches doing the work of a cowboy, having a little bit of fun, but it wasn't the sport that it is today. The rodeo today, Bron, now that you're the director of the rodeo, I'm assuming putting together a something that is a national sport and bringing it to Fresno. What's that take? How much of it is related to that national circuit of rodeo, performances, basically?
Well, it has evolved into, a major sport and major athletes. I mean, these aren't just weekend cowboys. These guys train all year long, and they put together a run, which is part of Clovis in California, and we put up enough money and good stock. Money talks a lot,
yeah, right.
And so does good stock. And you put those two together, you have a heck of a rodeo.
What's a what's like a big purse for the Clovis Rodeo?
I mean, our added money now, Mark, is...
Last year we were $400,000. This year in 2024, it's going to be $450,000 in prize money. And as Ronnie just mentioned, money attracts the best cowboys.
Right.
Well, if you're going to have the best cowboys there, you've got to spend some money and have the best stock there.
And so, like, what's the biggest event that has the largest purse to it? The bull riding?
Well, they're all evenly purse.
Good.
Each one's even from all the timed events and rough stock events. So they're all even purse.
All right, folks, we had to take a little quick of a break because the Cowboys aren't used to this modern technology. So, Ron, you wanted to take a break to find out exactly how much prize money there was. And I'm like, Ron, it really doesn't matter. But go ahead and tell me now that you've done a little research.
Right now we're one of the top 2 rodeos in the state of California. And the top 20 in the country,
right?
And that's pretty important. It's one of the largest rodeos around. And
is it part of the national circuit? I mean, is this rodeo give points basically to these competitors for the national circuit?
Yeah, our governing party is a Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, PRCA.
Right.
And I can't remember how many sanctioned rodeos are, but at the end of the year, I think it cuts off in October. Is the money earned from October 1 goes to the national finals, which is Las Vegas. Top 15 Cowboys, Cowgirls in each event compete for millions of dollars in Las Vegas.
You have 400,000 or more, approximately. Ron's debating it, but how much though is it revenue to the city? And I understand to the charities out there that you guys service.
So the Clovis Rodeo means about $15 million to the city of Clovis and our immediate region right here. The other thing is Clovis Rodeo will donate directly or indirectly over $350,000 a year directly to the community in the community of Clovis. But when that dollar comes to town, and a lot of people from out of town come, including the Cowboys, but a lot of their fans, when we have good Cowboys, we attract a huge fan base, and they know good Cowboys.
Yeah.
With that being said, when that Cowboy spends $2, it doesn't just go into a pot somewhere, and that's done and over with. It turns over at least 4 times.
Right.
So it just keeps generating income.
Well, and then also you just have all these people that have never been out to Clovis, even though they live in Fresno. They come to this thing. It's a wonderful event. It's clean. It's crime-free, knock on wood, and they see this great, vibrant, sort of Western, well, really Western city that they'll come back to on other occasions throughout the year.
We try and put on nothing but a class act, a great family show for about 2.5 hours. It moves right along. And everything we do there, we do it for our fan base, and we have an awesome group of sponsors that makes Clovis Rodeo happen.
Fan base, what's the yearly attendance, you think?
Through our gates, it's over 45,000, closer to 50,000. Wow.
And then you have the parade too, Ron, right?
Yeah, the parade is Saturday morning. Starts at 9:30. April 27th. That's another. We talk about the traditions, and we haven't changed the tradition much of how we produce this rodeo. I mean, it's changed a lot, evolution with the type of Cowboys we have, but the parade's been around for such a long time.
Well, believe me, I found a quote from you basically saying that's the one thing you love the most about it is it's all about tradition, and it reminds me of the old. What was the old movie? The Entebbe was singing tradition and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's a cowboy movie, but Fiddler on the Roof. We'll be right back after this. This is the Mark Capitan Show on KMJ. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Welcome back to the Mark Capitan Show. Hey, folks, check us out on Facebook and on YouTube. Subscribe, like, do all that kind of stuff. If you have been in an accident, a truck accident, a motorcycle accident, a car accident, if you've been bucked by your neighbor's horse, who do you call, Marcella?
Capitan Brothers.
The Capitan Brothers Law Firm. She says she knows that. Of course she knows that. She works at the office. Folks, you know the drill. If you've been cited for a criminal offense, or if you've been in an accident, call the Capitan Brothers 9 to 5, or on the weekends or after hours. It doesn't matter. We have the phone's waiting for you, 559-498-8000. I probably shouldn't say the phone's waiting because I'm not going to be waiting for 559-498-8000. Capitan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. We are here with Ron Dunbar and Mark Thompson from the Clovis Rodeo. The Clovis Rodeo on April 24th to 28th. We want to see everybody out there. Ron, you were talking about tradition and the fact that you love tradition. How did you get into this rodeo business?
Well, my father got me involved. Him and his few college buddies, and one of them's father-in-law was a director, and they got them involved down at the East End. That's the East End. That's the catch pen for all the time event cattle. So since the story is, my parents told me I never missed one rodeo. I was born in December of 61, and my first rodeo was April of 62.
Yeah, I heard you were 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months old.
Yeah.
And then I just grew up down there. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't wait to get there. It was like an old family tradition, and that's how tradition, or a reunion. People from the hills all get together. And as soon as I got older in high school and college, and then I kind of wanted to get a little more involved. I wanted to be a director, so I kind of worked my way and friends with Mark and Vince Janko and Dan Riggs. They kind of got me involved a little bit more, and then 25 years ago, I became on the board, and
Right. And you have not missed one rodeo.
No, never missed a performance. No, I don't. No, I'm not pretty sure. No.
Wow,
it's pretty. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I've seen it. It's changed so much to a small 2-day event to now we're 5 days,
Yeah.
and the people come out in droves. I'm my official during the rodeos. I'm called the shoot boss, so I kind of run the shoots in the front, and we see the crowd. When we're ready to start, they're packed. I mean, it's packed, and these guys behind me getting ready to ride their bareback horses. You can we almost feel the adrenaline coming through you, and then you look back, and it's crowd time, and they get pumped. When the crowd gets pumped up, they get pumped up,
and the horse gets pumped up, and everything, right?
The animals are pretty smart. They know what's going to go on.
They really know that they're ready to perform.
Yeah, and they know when it's time to open up the gate, and here they go.
We had Lefty Holman in here. I'm sure you guys know who Lefty Holman is, and the guy is all but $120, and as far as his weight is concerned, and it's just phenomenal to see these guys. They're true athletes. They're tiny on these beasts that are a couple thousand pounds or whatever they are, right? And it's got to be exciting being by that chute like that.
You say something about Lefty. Yeah. Lefty won the mutton busting at the Clovis Rodeo when he was 5 years old.
I was about to, I have that written down, mutton busting. It took me a second, but being a Greek guy, I know exactly what that is. The mutton, the sheep riding for the young kids, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, they turned in to become cowboys. And
wait a minute, didn't you do something like that? Were you mutton busting, or were you mule riding, right?
Yes, I'm also a mule packer, but I announce the mutton busting, and that's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's a blast,
kids
right?
Out there and their folks, and the crowd's cheering for them, and
okay,
they're the future athletes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, just like Lefty, they're the future superstars, right? But what I wondered is the mule riding, okay? Because I think you got your start as an announcer by being at the Bishop Mule races, and you met some big announcer over there. Is that correct?
That is correct. I was on a pack team, and he was announcing, and it just happened to be Bob Tallman, who is probably the greatest rodeo announcer ever, and we became fast friends. And
I understand you went to his school up in Oregon, and they have an actual announcing school.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
What did they teach you at announcing school?
Everything.
Yeah.
It was 4 days, and it was almost 24/4. We just worked and worked and worked, and got out of there and had a whole new perspective of what the announcing business was.
But the question, the other question I had about it is, what is the mule event at the rodeo? What do you all do?
We don't really have a mule event. Okay. That at one time we had a couple mule shows there when we would rent out the arena, and different people came in and put on different programs like that. But
yeah. I didn't know if it was like the mule racing that they have at the horse races and stuff like that. But it's, I was ready to say, but it's a whole different animal. But it really is a whole different. Well, partially a different animal. Yeah. And so you actually do it as pack. You guys get in big groups and you run them as they're supposed to be run, or ridden as they're supposed to be ridden, to pack a bunch of gear, right?
Right. It's an actual contest in packing, and there are 4 people on a team, and we've been very fortunate. We were sponsored by the California Backcountry Horsemen for 15 years.
Is it easier to ride, harder to ride?
Let me put it this way. Mules are really smart.
Yeah.
So you don't want to make a mistake around them because they remember.
Oh, really? Because they could be very stubborn, I understand, right? Stubborn like a mule.
They can, but you take care of them, they'll take care of you.
And more sure-footed than a horse, from what I understand.
Very much.
Yes. Interesting. Did you ever compete at all, Ron?
No, I junior rodeo as a kid. My dad wanted me to ride broncs and bulls. I rode till probably 12 years old. I didn't really enjoy it that much.
Did you broncs and bulls? You did?
Just a small.
Yeah, right. What do you got here? Oh, well, let's see. Hold on. Mark's passed me. Marcel. Mark's passing me one of his belt buckles. I was going to ask him. I got to see how big your belt buckle is. Look at this thing. What does that say, Ron? Mark. What does that say? Mule Days, Bishop. Oh, you actually wearing the belt. Mule Days, Bishop, California, 25th year world champion. Oh, you were on the world champion. Man, did you get a good prize money for that?
We got some hard knocks over it.
I was about to say, the mules don't earn the good money, do they?
That's right. They can't read buckles.
That's too funny. That's too funny. All right, 1914, this thing starts. It's the start of World War I, basically, or right around World War I then. How much has, Ron, this rodeo changed as far as, you said, even in your lifetime? I remember the Greek festival when it started. It was basically, I would go every birthday. It was my birthday during the Greek festival. It was basically the small community, right? How big of an operation is this? How big of a corporation is this? This is a full-fledged huge business, right?
No, it is a business, huge business, and it's become that way financially as we grow with sponsors and improvements we make. And like I keep saying, is got to keep raising that prize money.
Yeah,
that's important. And now, back in the good old days, there's still some kids that do that. They jump in a Cadillac or an old car and they drive from rodeo. Now a lot of these kids or young men are flying from rodeo to rodeo, and they'll get a pilot and take 4 or 5 because they may hit 4th of July weekend, as they call it, the Cowboy Christmas. There's so many rodeos, they might hit 3 or 4 rodeos. Wow. A weekend.
Wow.
But the way they travel and the way they do things is completely different than when I first got part as a kid.
Yeah. But the business side of it is about 700 people, I think, you have in your organization. Both you guys, including everybody else, volunteers or what?
Yeah, we're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid for what we do. And
really?
Right. That's exactly right, Mark. And let me give you some quick numbers here.
Okay.
So we'd already talked about 45, closer to 50,000 fans during our run, 550 cowboys, 50 mutton busters, 70 cowgirls, 746 animal athletes, and now I have a question for you.
Okay.
In case you end up on Jeopardy or something.
Okay.
So in 5 days, how much tri-tip does Clovis Rodeo go through for sandwiches?
Well, I'll tell you, when I went down for the parade one year with my secretaries, that's what we had is tri-tip sandwiches. So it's, you get, thousands of pounds, right?
How about 8,500 pounds?
Wow.
Over 4 tons of tri-tip.
4 tons of tri-tip. You could just smell it when you drive through that town, too.
I get one a day.
You get one a day. That's your pay, right?
That's my pay, is one a day.
Yeah.
What's the favorite part for you guys? What the favorite part of the rodeo for you guys?
I think a lot of it is just seeing that the show is a success, that we've had a good run, that nobody's got hurt, so to speak, seriously, kind of a deal. And we've opened up a lot of doors and a lot of eyes and ears. We put on a good show for the fans, but we've also represented Clovis Rodeo in a very good light for our sponsors. And we could not do this, Mark, without our sponsors. They are phenomenal.
Well, here's to the sponsors. The Clovis Rodeo coming up here. We're going to be right back with Ron Dunbar and Mark Thompson from the Clovis Rodeo. This is KMJ and the Mark Capitan Show. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Welcome back to the Mark Capitan Show. Folks, if you are looking for one of the greatest times of your life, April 24th to April 28th, it is the Clovis Rodeo, the 110th annual edition of the Clovis Rodeo. 110 years. There's nothing, well, I was about to say there's nothing that old around this area here, but I'm looking at two guys that are pretty rode hard and put away wet, as they would say, right?
Wow.
Sorry, you guys. I'm teasing you.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts are facts. Yeah, we are here with Ron Dunbar and Mark Thompson from the Clovis Rodeo. Folks, the 110th annual Clovis Rodeo, April 24th to April 28th. Buy your tickets at clovisrodeo.com. Ticket prices range from about $20 to $35 with no extra charge for concerts. Well, that's nice, man. That's awesome. Save, let's see, you could save with concert ticket packages. Buy 2 concert tickets and get $5 off, or purchase all 3 concert night tickets and receive $10 off. And we hope to see you all out there. I'm trying to read this without my glasses, as you can tell. The Clovis Rodeo, folks, you will love it. It is pure Americana, and it's right here in God's country, Clovis, California. Ron, you were saying something about the mutton busting competition?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough event, and it can be really tough for the announcer. Because one year, after the last kid rides and we announce the champion, we always have a couple sheep left behind just in case something happens and one takes off. So we have an alley pretty much that goes out to the chute and makes a quick left. So at that point, they had picked up the chute, and all there was the alley. And I said, well, we're good. Let those other 2 go. And they let the other 2, and they're beaming down there, heading right to the big grandstand. About that time, I looked, and I see Mark walking across right in the middle of the alley. I go, crap. You jumped up and hit him right in the center of the ribs, and he went down like a rock. And, amazing thing about Mark is he never dropped the microphone. He couldn't breathe, but he never dropped the microphone. And I was the vice president at that time, so I figured, well, I kind of planned the whole thing to become president. But
Mark, I heard he did it on purpose. He said, let those things run.
Yeah, they were calling him John Wilkes Dunbar.
There's so many stories about stuff like that.
How much do those things weigh? I mean, they're covered with all the sheep's fur and stuff or whatever they call it.
The key to them is those ewes don't weigh a whole lot.
Yeah.
But the breed that they are is, they got the moves.
They're aggressive. They go for it.
And if they're going to take a shot at something, the last 4 or 5 feet is in the air.
Yeah.
Jump.
Really?
So she caught me right in the top of the ribs.
So it just wasn't running by. It literally jumped up and says, you're it.
Mark was in her way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good story.
If there's video of that out there, please send it to the Mark Capitan Show. We're going to put it online. Who's playing this year? What concerts do we have?
Well, let's start with that. Is that okay, Mark?
Sure, you bet.
Well, wait. Ron has to sort of wind up. So, Mark, why don't you just talk about the charity events while Mark's looking for who's playing?
Yeah, we can do that too. We are very, very fortunate. We talked earlier about pounds of tri-tip used in the 5 days. Yeah. Clovis Rodeo keeps the tri-tip booth for ourselves. The other concessions are run by nonprofits.
Yeah.
So when you come out to Clovis Rodeo, Mark, if you buy a hot dog from the Boy Scouts, you're sending a scout to camp. You buy a sandwich from Old Town Clovis Kiwanis, then you're helping kids in the Key Club kind of a deal.
Yeah.
The AMVETs, you can just take a look around.
Boys and Girls Scout of America, breast cancer research, 4-H, FFA, it goes on and on and on.
Right.
Yeah.
The Police Explorers, it does go on and on and on. And we purposely do that to help out our community kind of a deal. The other thing is the board of directors works really hard at knowing what the prices are of the products that are being sold and passed on to our fans there. And one of the reasons is we want people to be able to come.
Yeah.
We want you to bring that family of 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever.
Oh, to make it affordable, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll tell you, it's again the Clovis way of life thing. I got to say, Clovis, I don't know what it is compared to other governments, but you guys really care about the community. You think about the community, and you do things perfectly the way you guys do it out there.
Well, and before Ron gets started, Mark, where else can you go and get a 2.5-hour rodeo and then a concert for $35?
Yeah. Nice segue. Ron, you got those concerts?
So, we'll start off Wednesday night, April 24th, with our bull riding. Nothing but bull riding. We'll buck 50 bulls.
Wow.
And it's pretty fast, pretty fans love that bull riding. And then right after that, we'll bring Brian Martin into the arena, right outside the arena. Another young artist. We try to bring young artists. I mean, we had Keith Urban one year before Keith Urban was Keith Urban. But, I mean, we try to get these young up and rising artists. And then on Thursday is our first rodeo performance, and that'll be Michael Ray. Michael was here last year, so we're bringing him back for another year. And then on Friday night, which is always a huge night with the fans, and it's Matt Stell, another great young artist. So, I mean, we're fortunate. It's a lot of work to get these guys. Kiss Country helps us out, and we do what we can to put on a great show.
Yeah, a little props to Kiss Country out there. That is one of our affiliates, right, Marcella? Yeah. Part of Cumulus? Okay, I don't want to get in trouble with her husband over there. Yeah, Kiss Country, everybody listen. And what's funny about it is, I don't care if you like country music or not, just to go out and see a live act, go see it in a different setting than the normal thumping, arenas with, whatever rock and roll and hip hop and stuff that you may be listening to. But, yeah, that's awesome. What other rodeo events? You have barrel racing.
Well, in the women's, we have barrel racing and breakaway roping.
Yeah.
In the rough stock, there's bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, then bull riding. And timed events, there's steer wrestling, team roping, and tie down roping.
Is my buddy John Baxter out there roping?
Oh yeah, he usually comes out during slack and hangs out down the dirt with us. Yeah.
Not a competitor, just a slacker is what you're saying.
Yeah, he loves it.
That's great. Yeah, I did my first attempt at roping out at his house one day. It was awesome. Yeah, beautiful. Mark, let me ask you this. They have the Queens, they have the parade, and they have the Queens, basically the Queen of the Rodeo. Have they announced, since you're the announcer, who the Queen of the Rodeo is this year?
Not yet. We're in the process of, we have 3 candidates this year, and we have them already, all the information on them. They came to us and said, we want to participate, and all 3 of them would really like to be the next Clovis Rodeo Queen. It's been a very successful contest. The young lady that will win, as will the other 2, will walk away with scholarship money. But we will announce that on Wednesday night, which is during the bull riding.
Oh, I see.
That's when the reign changes to the new queen, kind of a deal.
There's a queen in the court? Do they have the court and all that kind of stuff?
No, we just have the queen.
Right.
And she will travel to other various rodeos during the year, and it's kind of our goodwill ambassador, positive PR for Clovis Rodeo. I
didn't know that was part of what their duties were, basically. Mm-hmm. That's
all part of it. Plus, she makes public appearances right there in the community and in the Central Valley. So,
any of the queens or any of the people that have any of them in popular culture become famous stars at all? From the past history.
Several of our queens have gone on to become Miss Rodeo Californias.
Yeah.
And then when you're that, you can go ahead and compete for Rodeo America.
Right.
So, but yes, we're very fortunate. We got a really good group of young ladies that we can pick from.
Katie Kaufman.
Yeah.
Cowboy Channel. She went national with the Cowboy Channel.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know exactly
Born
who
and
you're
raised
talking
in
about.
this town.
Absolutely.
So, good success story there.
Yeah.
Long-time family.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, just the scholarship money itself is just is the Grand Marshal has that been chosen yet?
Yeah, we announced the Grand Marshals, and Jim.
It's funny you should ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ask where the Grand Marshal.
Well, I don't know how that happened, but no, you guys are the Grand Marshals this year.
So Jim and Carol Lindenback.
Oh, that's great.
Clovis people own Lindenback Auto Parts for years, and I actually played Little League for Lindenback, so it's kind of a good deal.
What kind of car are you driving in? Riding in. What kind of car? Old Cadillac? You guys ride down the parade?
Well, I take a golf cart.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back. We'll see you out there with the golf cart. This is the Mark Capitan Show on KMJ. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Hey, check us out on KMJnow.com or wherever you stream. Also, check us out on Facebook and YouTube on the Mark Capitan Show. Folks, listen, I'm going to get right back into it with Mark Thompson and Ron Dunbar of the Clovis Rodeo. Clovis Rodeo, April 24th to April 28th out there in Clovis. I swear, folks, time of your life. You'll have a blast. Some great rodeo competition, some great fun, and the parade. What day's the parade on, guys?
That's on Saturday.
Saturday?
Starts at 9:30.
The parade's on Saturday, a bunch of floats, all that kind of stuff.
Floats, horses, bands, a little bit of everything.
A competition for the floats also?
Yeah, I think they give away for top 3, prizes. And it's a good deal. I mean, it's been around for a long time as well.
You guys were saying this is televised, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Mark.
We are televised by the Cowboy Channel. And when you're in the top 20 across the nation, they come to us and want to make a deal. So this helps us directly.
Oh, because you're getting funds, yeah.
Right. And that helps us keep those ticket prices down that we talked about earlier.
Where's the Cowboy Channel? I mean, how do I find that?
It's streaming. Most of it's streaming.
Streaming, okay.
Cowboy.
Yeah. Hey, another thing of time gone by. No TV channel. It's a streaming channel. Yeah.
And it's really made sport rodeo really take off.
I can imagine, right?
Before maybe CBS or somebody'd pick it up, and now you could watch rodeo almost every day.
Well, that's what was funny is when we had Lefty on. I mean, his Facebook, his Instagram, all that kind of stuff. I don't even know if he has a Facebook. He's too young for that, right? But his Instagram and all that kind of stuff, there's just a huge population of these young kids out in America there. They just love, and around the world, they love the rodeo. Like I wanted to say in the opening, basically, everybody sees America as a cowboy. When I go to foreign countries, they'll say stuff like, "Hey, cowboy," or "Hey," and I'm not a cowboy, right? But they think of Americans as cowboys, howdy partner, all that kind of stuff.
They gravitate to a cowboy hat. Anywhere I go, wherever it is, boy, they love cowboy hats and cowboys.
Yeah, you're right, Mark.
We are so fortunate to have our fan base, and our fan base ranges from, like Ronnie being 4 months old when he first came, to 90-year-olds that come. And a lot of those old-time families come just to visit with people that have always been there, and they don't see them the rest of the year, kind of a deal.
Right.
So that's the reason for the parade in the morning on Saturday, the performance at 2 o'clock. Right after that performance, we have an after the rodeo party there on the lawn area for the vendors. People can get a sandwich and something cold to drink, do a little shopping, and then be right there until the dance that evening. So we don't have to worry about anybody leaving the grounds. They can spend the entire day with Clovis Rodeo.
Is the rodeo dance for the workers themselves, basically as a appreciation type thing, or is it open to the public?
It is open to the public.
No kidding.
Yes.
Old-fashioned dance done at the hall that's out there on the rodeo grounds?
Yes.
Oh, how neat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just at the hall last week. I was some of my sound buddy friends were setting up some sound equipment out there, and I was like, man, this is a fantastic place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah. All right, guys. So you have the dance, you have the after parties, all that kind of stuff. The events are going to be going on. The food. By the way, what's your favorite food to go to besides the tri-tip? Anything favorites out there?
That's about the only thing I've eaten.
Ron, you said you love Mexican food.
I love Mexican food, yeah.
Because you grew up on it from all the farm workers that you used to work with back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to love
that. Still my all-time favorite.
Are there other cowboy events in Clovis, like trick riding events or quick draw events or anything like that?
Well, we bring in a special act each year, and then this girl is named Jessica, and she rides 2 horses at once in the arena. And she'll be pretty exciting watching her ride.
Wow. I don't know how long it's going to take you to look that up. Do you know what day
she'll be there Thursday, during all the rodeo performers, not Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then we got J.J. Harrison, our bell man, to keep things rolling. Something gets slow, he's like a clown.
Oh, the rodeo clowns. Yeah. You know what? He was a star of the show out there, right?
Yeah, he keeps things going. Sure. If there's something on slow time, he'll pick it up and keep the crowd engaged. Does a great job for us.
And he does national finals. I mean, once again, we go back to the people we bring, their quality, and we're trying to entertain the people. They pay the dollars. We want to give them a good show.
Listen, I know he's a national guy from what I've heard too, but from what I also heard, Mark, is that because of your announcing, you actually have done some national things yourself, and you've become pretty big in the announcing world for the rodeos.
Well, not that big, Mark, but I thank you for the compliments. But I've had a lot of good friends that have given me a lot of good breaks, and I appreciate it.
Do you guys, you ever go to the Layton Rodeo? Have you done that?
I have been there. Yeah, I mean, some of the fun, the small ones are just as fun. I mean, they're different animal, but they're all good. I mean, they all work together and try to make it happen.
I hate to bring it up because I don't know if they're a competitor or anything like that. And we are here to talk about the Clovis Rodeo, but you were talking about how the days when you were younger in the Clovis Rodeo and stuff like that, and it has that little small town feel to it also. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like there was smaller rodeos. These athletes kind of work their way up to Clovis. It's like the little league or minor leagues and get to the big leagues, which is Clovis and Salinas. And
when I got on the board, we were the largest 2-day rodeo in the United States.
Wow.
So.
And you should have you didn't want to keep it just at 2 days and be the largest yet?
We got a little problem. We don't know how to say no at times. So.
I know. Listen, I know what you mean by that. I mean, you have this urge to build it bigger and bigger and bigger. So what are the next steps for you guys and for the Clovis Rodeo?
I think the main thing is to just keep making improvements, and we got a big surprise when that rodeo comes because we're talking about pavilions and a number of things that we're working on. We've also got another plan, Ronnie, for our fans as far as getting them in and out of the rodeo grounds.
Yeah, we've gotten so big and so many people show up that now we're going to do a little busing system from the Sierra Vista Mall to the rodeo grounds.
Oh,
so people can park at the mall and get on a bus and get the rodeo grounds, and after the rodeo, they get back on the bus and take them back to the mall. So if you check out the website, probably about a week or so, everything's going to be up and how that's going to work. So I think that's going to relieve a lot of pressure. It's because you get, unfortunately, like a 5 or 6 o'clock performance, everybody wants to come at the same time.
Well, what kills me, by the way, clovisrodeo.com to check that out, clovisrodeo.com to check it out. By the way, I drove out to Clovis. I got a warehouse out on Shaw and God knows where, like Locan, which my mom would say, "Oh, you're going to go way out into the country." They would say, right?
Not anymore.
That city of Clovis is exploded. The housing goes out. Oh my God, it's getting as big as Fresno.
Yeah, I grew up at Shaw and DeWolf. I can only recognize it anymore.
Yeah, you don't recognize it, right?
No.
I miss those days. My dad used to keep. I remember when I was a kid, I rode a horse named Miller at a little dude ranch type thing that we went to in West Virginia because we lived on the East Coast. Ever since then, because I loved Miller so much, I still remember his name, the way he looked, everything, the little pony that I rode. Ever since then, my dad would put a little box of sugar cubes in the ashtray of his Chrysler station wagon, and anytime we saw a horse, we had to go and, I don't know if it's good to do for the horses, but we used to feed him a little tiny sugar cube.
Didn't hurt him any.
No.
Doesn't hurt him?
No.
Good. Yeah, I love all that kind of stuff. Speaking about young kids and stuff like that, Ron, you got 2 daughters, 2 grandsons, 2 granddaughters. Are they going to be at the rodeo? Are they competing? What's going on?
My oldest grandson rode in the mutton busting a few years ago. And my youngest was getting ready to get on a sheep, and he decided that was not be what he wanted to do at this time. So he said, no way. So Tyler he didn't have to. So we went from the bucket chute, sat down. And I don't know about my granddaughters, but I mean, that's what I love about our rodeo is a family.
Yeah.
It's a family event.
But the whole family will be out there.
We all get together. My son-in-law's on the board. My other son-in-law's a big help. So it's family.
Mark, you got grandkids and kids and all that kind of stuff out there?
No. I don't.
You're like me, Mark?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You're going to go out there and find which cowgirls that you can pick up on out there, right?
And I appreciate you talking about having people go to Clovis Rodeo website. Yeah. And we've still got good tickets on sale, so we'd love to see them come out.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Ticket office.
I'll tell you what. It's a great event. You guys have done a great job. I hope to see you guys there for years and years to come. Everybody, April 24th to 28th, the Clovis Rodeo. It'll be a great time. It'll be a great time. Get a tri-tip. Get a hot dog from the Boys and Girls Club out there. Go check out the parade. Guys, thanks for being on the show. I had a great time with you guys.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'll be honest with you.
Pretty cool. Not bad for a long-haired hippie freak, right, guys?
Exactly. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
See you next week on the Mark Capitan Show. Thanks to my producer, Marcellus Lorio Taylor. This is KMJ.